Shalom. We'll praise to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahushua, Ba'Hashem Harakakadash. The one is the elder apostles of the great most on it rule well. And Shalom to all the brothers doing the work in truth. Saw this article and I found it interesting because you've basically had a push from heavily from like 2020, especially within Europe, to reduce the use of cash and push towards where, previously it was chip and pin, now it's really just been contactless. That's kind of facilitated it where it's moving everyone away from cash. You got this article in the Greek Reporter where it says Greece moves to ban cash payments above 500 euros. And it says Greece is preparing to tighten cash payment rules as part of a wider effort to increase financial transparency and combat tax evasion. The proposed measures appear in a new multi-bill submitted by the Greek Ministry of National Economy and Finance. And they introduce a stricter framework for cash payments. So you've got them cracking down on cash payments. And for most of these, it'll be, related to, the justification will be like fraud, criminal activity, these things, tax evasion. And that's going to be a lot of, a lot of the bigger kind of strokes of it, where them things are happening, but the truth of the matter is why is it that they're then pushing for these things? It's really because they're going towards that beast system where everything's basically being dealt with electronically, everything's basically being monitored, where and how things are spent, so it can all be tracked. It's part of that system of control, and that's what these elite are always after. It says under the bill, taxpayers and businesses must complete any transaction worth 500 euros or more electronically. So 500 euros. So even if you were to buy like a car, even like, I don't know, certain components for a vehicle, for you might need to fix a fucking washing machine or something, a lot of goods are going to go over that price, where you might, there's people that still fuck with cash like that, but the fact that you can't even do it is interesting. So let's say taxpayers under the bill, okay, wait. Yeah, under the bill, taxpayers and businesses must complete any transaction worth 500 euros or more electronically. Importantly, authorities will calculate the threshold based on the total value of the transaction rather than on individual receipt or partial payment. So they're saying, it says, as a result, the measures aim to close loopholes that previously allowed transactions to be split into smaller amounts to bypass existing cash restrictions. So if you were to just say, oh, we're going to pay 350 twice instead of 700, you could do that before, but now it's like if they're selling, I don't know, a fridge for 700 quid, you'd have to pay, even if you were to pay 350 twice, as we've done electronically. And it's interesting that they're even straight locking down on it, because it's kind of wild actually that they're just straight locking down on it. But then these are the things, it's just like in the States where you have, I believe it's a penny and the dime. Is it dime? No, what's a five? Whatever the 5 cents is. Nickel? I think nickel. I think a penny and a nickel, I believe, are being phased out. Because, it's the saying it costs more to produce them than they're even worth. So like, what's the point? Which you would think makes sense. But then this is why it's like, historically, the point of a currency is to be in, like you would be, dollars of silver, pounds of gold, silver, it's weights of, just weights of those precious metals, the actual precious thing, as the measure of value. That's been the whole point of them being like that. So it says Greece introduces double fines. So it says the legislation also introduces tougher penalties for those who fail to comply with a cash payment limit Under the new rules, authorities will impose a fine equal to twice the amount paid in cash. So yeah, if you're paying in cash, if you pay 500, you're getting fined 1,000. Which you think about is kind of crazy. Like, it's fucking insane when you think about it. It used to be a point in time where it's like you might go buy something for like two grand or whatever. You'd go to the bank, you'd get, you'd say, okay, get it out. Over here in the UK, the biggest notes are 50. You just get a bunch of 50s, and then you just go and pay with the 50s. But over there in Greece, they're getting cooked. And the thing with Greece as well is likely because of how it's from 2008, man, a financial crash. Them man have been cooked. Them man have been just destroyed. And I believe it's like they said, it's the austerity from that period, what they had to do basically, what the not the sanctions, the not even stipulations, the conditions basically they had to accept, to get the bailout from the EU, has basically just had them in that, destroyed state, maintained in that destroyed state, which isn't really a surprise because their man were through. Um, but then that means that they're able to push, something like this where they're like, okay, because of all, how dire the situation is, we're just gonna have to, limit cash payments below a certain amount. Kind of crazy because it's like you have, especially with like Arabs in like spots in central London, they'll be going buying stuff for like thousands just in cash. Like they just kind of move with cash like that just because, yeah, they might not even have a card that works, for actual like contactless payments in the country. So then they'll just go, get money changed, and that being done in Greece, especially with the way the EU works, it could be something where they say, okay, we might have to limit it, the use of the euro, and say, okay, to limit certain crimes or whatever, limit X, Y, Z, then that can be a way they can kind of push it. And that's the thing is, once these things are in, they're not gonna, like they already said. They said there was a prior law, and the previous one people were circumventing it already. So now they've made a stricter one. So when they put these laws in, these policies in, they don't put the policies in to then over time be like, okay, now we're gonna ease it off. We're gonna remove that policy. No, they cement them and double down. That becomes a standard, and then they build more upon it. So with this, that just all that screams to me is they're looking to bring in that mark as soon as possible, because they say so it says what, therefore the government expects the measure to act as a strong deterrent and encourage broader use of electronic payment methods across the economy. And I guess as well, because I remember like people could not withdraw their cash from the banks in Greece. So you might actually have it as well where a lot of people are just stuffing euros in their mattress because they got burned by, going to the bank. Bank was saying fuck off. Because they were done. It's like that in the UK. It was like Northern Rock. What was it? Lehman Brothers. There was, that's something where people would have been, especially in somewhere like Greece where it's not even bounced back like that. They're just still fucked. They ain't gonna be fucking with that. So skipping down a bit, it says meanwhile authorities are expected to tighten oversight of cryptocurrency transactions, reflecting the government's growing focus on digital financial activity and emerging forms of value transfer. So they're even looking, to put a grip on crypto, and then what the focus is on digital financial activity. So that beast system. Because let's say cash payment rules support broader transparency push. It says overall the reforms aim to strengthen tax compliance and improve financial transparency by limiting the use of cash and expanding monitoring mechanisms. So it's all about seeing where the money's going, which is the whole point. You go into the beast system. That's the whole point of it. So as I say, aim to reduce undeclared income and modernize transaction practices for both businesses and consumers. It's basically bringing them into that beast system, which in when you go to most of the first world countries, they've had that big push away from raw cash to these more monitorable methods. People are thinking crypto, oh, it's off the thingy, it's off the grid, blah blah blah. The way most people engage with it with exchanges, like it's all on the grid. Because what does it say? Um, would mark another step towards a more digitized and closely monitored financial environment in grid. So, oh wait, no, I missed one. So it's by limiting the use of cash and expanding monitoring mechanisms. Greek authorities aim to reduce undeclared and thinking. Yeah, if lawmakers approve the bill, the measures will mark another step towards a more digitized and closely monitored financial environment in Greece. So it's basically they've found the justifications to tighten that grip. And that's the thing is all these different locations, they're looking to bring these policies, man. They're gonna find something where it's like, okay, look, now we've got the means to justify what we're gonna do. We're gonna that's there's XYZ going down. They're like, okay, well then we're gonna be able to justify what do you call it? Damn. We're gonna be able to justify just cutting off cash. And the thing is down the line, give it a few months, a few weeks, few months, the years, who knows? Depends how long we're here. They can just push for like, okay, well, with modernize all these things, we're gonna limit cash even more, cut down to like 200 euros, 300 euros, something like that. Then eventually just kaput the whole thing. And that's really how these things are. So I read this, Revelation 13 and 16. It says, and he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So that mark, that implantable microchip, going to be about tracking those payments. The whole point is about tracking, having everything on a grid, everything monitorable. And that's exactly what they said. They said they're pushing towards Greece, towards a more digitized and able to trackable economy. Saying too many people off the grid, and that's how things are with cash. So it's about limiting that. And the thing is it's what they call it. It's like carrot and stick, where there's rewarding and a lot of the carrot for it is contactless. You get used to the convenience of contactless. Let you be standing behind someone. It's like I remember before, like back in the day, where you'd have people come with like fucking pennies and 10p's and 5p's, and then they'll be counting out coins when they're going to pay for something. Fucking hell, innit? Yeah. And then if you had a fucking a note, you just go there, you crack the note, whatever, and then you just you're in, you're out. Now even someone coming in, cracking the note, and then you're there behind them with not even a contactless, just with chip and pin, where you just put it in and put the pin in. You're gonna be like, that guy's taking forever. You just like there, just like go bang, you're done. Then it's like you being behind chip and pin guys, someone contactless. They're thinking all these guys are taking forever. You just go in, just beat, and then you fucked off. You're in there, you're out 10 seconds. And these are that's part of the allure of the draw, the conveniences. They'll think, oh, getting that implant, and we're like, okay, well, you have all kinds of benefits, seemingly all kinds of benefits to it. It will seem alluring. It seem like, yo, how are you even going to be able to function without it? But the reality of it is, it's just a matter of how tied into that system you are. And that's really what it's going to be for most people. They're looking at these things like, well, it's just how things are, and they're just going to go with the flow and be destroyed. But all these different things that happen, going down with Greece, that should already, the first you say that, first thing I'm thinking is of that mark, man. But yeah, I'll leave it there. Shalom, shalom.